I have in the studio Brett Parker and Holly Meijer, who runs the Dementia Foundation. Good morning to both of you and welcome.
Thanks for having us. The Dementia Foundation is an organisation we founded a few years ago, but we specialise in young onset dementia. So that's for people with a diagnosis of dementia between the ages of 18 and 65.
Do people know how to ask for help or when they need to ask for help?
I think that's one of the bigger questions that is really out there, and we're really trying to work through trying to find solutions for people to understand this. So to know where to go is a maze, and that's where we have to try to find an avenue for people to find where do they get answers, where do they find an opportunity to go to the next step once they suspect potentially a diagnosis of dementia, or whether they've got actually a diagnosis already, what is that next step? And people think they need to do it on their own, but they don't. There actually is help. The federal government is extremely useful to be able to navigate through the mechanisms. And if you know how and where to go, then it can provide a lot of support.
Do you talk from experience here?
We talk from an experience that we deliver and work with so many families and so many hours of service to be able to provide people that opportunity so they can live a better life. And especially in our specialisations of young onset dementia, we actually have families who are still needing to work. People are still needing to raise families. And so they need to be able to still live their life as they would typically, but also now care for a loved one.
Why did you set this up? What's your story?
Well, we actually started another organisation by the name of To Flourish a few years ago, and we started that really to do things differently, but more specifically to help people who other providers haven't been able to help.
Yeah.
And in going through that journey, we found a number of people with young onset dementia who just didn't know what to do, didn't know where to go. And so we worked out that was something that we couldn't ignore. And that's how the Dementia Foundation was essentially born. We wanted to specialise in that to be able to assist this cohort of people much more so.
Are there more challenges when somebody's diagnosed with dementia at a younger age?
It's got different challenges. There are challenges that approach everybody at different age points. And I think that's something that people just need to be aware of, that you're on a journey. And that journey for every family and for every individual is unique and it's bespoke to them. But don't forget, that journey does have some steps that we all need to take together. And so when we look at what a young onset dementia diagnosis can mean, it can have those other impacts, as I mentioned, where you may have financial security not yet finished.
Yeah.
You might still have young children who are growing up in the household who don't understand what's happening. So it moves a generation. Instead of grandchildren looking at their grandparents saying, what's wrong? You have children of their parents who are still young enough to say, I don't understand what's wrong. We're always having to work through some strategies here because one of the common realities is people feel carer burnout and you have decision fatigue that comes from this.
Yeah.
But very importantly, you have a sense of guilt. And it doesn't matter what age or what it might be, if you're actually no longer able to support or look after your loved one and you feel a sense of guilt from that, it's very hard to move forward to make decisions. And sometimes you need the specialist, you need someone to give you that advice who comes from a position of experience to say it's okay to think this way, it's okay to now start to think about a new decision that might help you.
But you've got to get over the guilt.
The guilt's huge.
The guilt would eat someone up, I imagine.
Oh, it does, absolutely. And it makes decision making very, very difficult for them. And the other reality with young onset dementia is it often takes a long time to diagnose or is even misdiagnosed initially. So by the time that a person or their family understands what's really going on, they're quite progressed in their journey.
The Dementia Foundation is about providing support to families who are caring for somebody in the family or a friend even who has dementia under the age of 65. So what's the support that they most need that they maybe don't know how to ask for?
It's really that path forward. So people will receive the diagnosis of young onset dementia, and as I just said, that could be years in the making, that particular diagnosis. But then it's, what do I do? Where do I go?
So you're helping them navigate what the future will look like.
So we've actually just started a partnership arrangement and it's working with some really strong candidates from ECU here in Perth. And there are students there who are looking to develop their programs or their thesis or their master's work by coursework, where they're actually going to be able to provide assistance to map out what that process might look like for a person on the journey. We don't necessarily need to find the federal funds to do that. It'd be great to have it, but we need to simplify the mechanism. We have to say, look, these are your simple steps to go. We feel that people are overwhelmed in a general sense. How do you communicate to someone who's feeling overwhelmed? You've really got to make it a very basic approach and help them as much as possible.
Because they can't make decisions.
That's
As you
right.
said, you get that
Right.
decision
That's it. Yeah.
fatigue as
Yeah.
well, the carer burnout, decision fatigue, and then you second guess yourself, and then you're wondering if you're actually doing the right thing by your person. And I've got quite a few people texting saying the guilt never leaves.
No.
Even when
No,
they're
it
gone, you still feel guilty. And that's probably, I guess, a big challenge is trying to get people to understand that putting someone in care is not something you should feel guilty about if you physically can't look after them anymore, or mentally or emotionally.
That's a
right.
responsibility really for I guess government and for the community and society as a general rule we do need to take ownership of this. We need to recognise this. And we do have a particular a viewpoint as well where we want to be able to talk to employers about recognising and understanding more empathy for families who may be going through this journey that they don't recognise themselves. Because we do find people are still active in the workforce. You can still work with a diagnosis of dementia. You shouldn't actually be excluded. And so the concept really becomes, well, if you start talking through with employers, educating your employers to understand that people may have a diagnosis and therefore they may have a changed behaviour, it's okay to still work in a particular way. Unfortunately, sometimes people don't understand or look at what's the root cause or what's maybe behind a person's change in their performance or a change in their behaviour.
You're doing great work. If people want to get in touch, how can they do that?
They can go to our website, which is www.tdfwa.org.au, or call us on 1300 865 282. We're available to help. I'll point out as well, we deliver about 7,000 hours per month of direct care for our clients with dementia, but we're not just here for those clients. We are here for their families and friends and anyone else who requires help through this process.
Yeah, well, congratulations to both of you. You've got a great organisation going, and just reminding you, and that's why we've got them in today, that help is there. You just need to know where to look for it. Thank you
Always.
very much.
Thank you very much,
you.
Nadia.
The Dementia Foundation, if you need help, as I said, it is there. The